This Pocono Trucks and Xfinity Series Betting Picks 2025 edition of the NASCAR Gambling Podcast here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog. Get up to $1,000 deposit match when you sign up at UnderdogFantasy.com. Promo code RACE SGPN.
Driver, start your engine!
Strap in and pull those belts up tight as the Sports Gambling Podcast Network presents the NASCAR Gambling Podcast.
I'm just gonna put my foot on the floor and I'm not lifting till I see God or a checkered flag.
My man.
With all the news and the best bets for your NASCAR weekend.
We want to thank you tonight for these mighty machines that you brought before us. Thank you for the Dodges and the Toyotas. Thank you for the Fords. Lord, I want to thank you for my smoking hot wife tonight, Lisa. In Jesus' name, boogity, boogity, boogity.
Now, here are your hosts, Rod Villagomez and Cody Zeeb.
Welcome one, welcome all to another episode of the NASCAR Gambling Podcast here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. He, as always, Cody Zeeb. I am Rod Villagomez, and today we are here to break down the Trucks and Xfinity Series betting picks for the Pocono Raceway, the Tricky Triangle, and all that such. So we go from a Mexico City road course to a Pennsylvania Triangle. Cody, I could think of no better transition into the rest of the season than that.
Yes, and like just the scheduling here, Michigan to Mexico City to Pocono. So shout out to everybody that keeps this circus rolling, because it's been some long days, long weeks, especially the truckers. Those guys are the haulers for the not only the teams but all the TV stuff, all that stuff. It's been a long couple of weeks for them. So shout out to them for putting on a show, giving us a lot of racing.
I've watched cars enough to know that those truck drivers, they definitely can, they have to fight to stay awake, right? Or else their car's going to roll off of the back of their hauler and end up in radiator springs, and then wackiness ensues. So yeah, you're absolutely right. Shout out to all you hardworking truckers out there for staying awake and not letting Kenny G lull you to sleep on the side of the road.
Yes, absolutely.
I felt a lot of heaviness in the NASCAR space over the last, 48 hours or so. I just feel like we need to break this all up because, Cody, wherever you look, it's just doom and gloom, my friend.
Yeah, speaking of that, Rod, I don't know if you saw Rick Ware Racing filed a countersuit. They are countersuing Legacy, who's suing them. More developments in the 2311 NASCAR lawsuit. So, yeah, kind of feels like Oprah around here. You get a lawsuit, you get a lawsuit. Everybody gets a lawsuit in NASCAR these days.
And you get a fine. Yes. I'm not going to go into that one, but you guys, the brief moment of silence there was everybody digesting exactly what I was talking about. I will take the high road, kids, and I will not comment on that one. Suffice it to say, it's news, it's out there, and you can catch up on it if you want.
Everybody makes mistakes, Rod. Own up to it, and it's all good.
Own up to it, and then go out there and win championships and be one of the greatest race car drivers in the world. Here's your chance.
That's all I'm do. Yeah, and
we
know he's gonna, so we ain't gonna worry about it.
Oh, you couldn't just let me not, right? You had to bait me into it. I'm not taking the bait, Cody. Not taking the bait. We are here to talk about that driver in particular. We will talk about him, obviously, in the truck series, as all three series in action again this weekend on the Tricky Triangle over there in Pocono. quick shout out to my boys over there at IBT. They're going to be holding it down out there live. So make sure you're keeping an eye on the in-between media, the back road. Seth and Elliott, man, they get a great opportunity, just like Cody does when he goes to Kansas, and just like me when I go to Sonoma, to just be on the ground. And there's no better place to be than on the ground during a NASCAR event.
It is the absolute best. Yeah, looking forward to those guys' coverage of the Poconos this week.
Indeed. Jessica checking in because guess what? It is her favorite episode. Hey, guys, and yes, trucks.
Oh,
Trucks.
The tough trucks in NASCAR. I don't know if we really talked about it much, but Ram coming back next year for the Truck Series, Rod. Oh, I'm very, very, very excited.
I think it was Seth. Yeah, Seth and I and Elliot, when we were talking about that last week when they made the initial announcement. I'm super excited because I loved Dodge being in it. With them being in the series, it just made it so much more interesting. And obviously, Dodge Ram, right? The recognizable brand of truck. When you think truck, you think Dodge Ram.
Yeah. Well, I was a big Bill Elliott fan when I was a kid. And then, he's the one who brought back Dodge, right? With Ray Evernham, the whole thing there, not really on purpose, but we have the two vehicles we own are both Dodges. My work car that I bring home is also a Dodge. So three Dodge family here. It wasn't necessarily plain because they're Dodges, but that's how it works out. So love the Dodge family and the Ram family. Apologies. Those are two completely different things, Rod. And you'd be a fool to think otherwise.
You failed at marketing. That's all right. That big glaring F on your report card, that was from marketing. Jess wants to know what we think about the Piano Man. We got some thoughts.
I have thoughts on both Piano Men today, Rod.
Oh, you do. That's right. Because there are two piano men in the field. We'll definitely talk about them. But I have some thoughts first about our college football team. Phenomenal couple of guys over there in the college football world have been grinding for, so many seasons now. Colby's just the OG of all of this, right? That dude is synonymous with college football and synonymous with football in general. And he and Moneyline Mac breaking down every FBS team. If you're keeping count, it's like 162 teams that they break down. So team previews for every single FBS college football team. You don't want to miss it. I guarantee you right now, if you're a college football fan, you need to be paying attention to this and checking out all those episodes. Great listens, great folks, great content.
They are. And if you are a fan of a small school like Ball State, and nobody gives a fuck about your stupid program, maybe just be happy that they're talking about your school, huh?
Was that a thing?
Yeah, there was somebody was very upset on the X that they messed up something in the episode. I find it hard to believe. I didn't even know Ball State had a football team. Maybe they're playing Testicle Tech next weekend. No idea. But seriously, people, Jesus.
I know. Everybody just wants to be pissed off right now. It's something. So I never take it personally. Like, go ahead, be pissed off. I'm not going to cry about it. All right. Again, we are here to talk about trucks and Xfinity in the Poconos in the that is Long Pond, Pennsylvania. So, Cody, it's the Truck Series first, right? That's happening, and what's going on with the schedule? What are we looking at when we're talking about this weekend going on?
Yeah, Truck Series, Rod. They will be racing. I don't even know what day they're racing. Is this a Friday? I don't think there's lights at Pocono. I know there's not lights at Pocono, actually.
There's sun in Pocono.
There's sun. Well, hopefully then that'd be a good thing. But we got 34 trucks entered for this one. Brandon Jones back in the one truck. Now, I got really excited when I saw Brandon Jones' name on there because I've been liking to fade him in the trucks, Rod. But he's got to turn the page a little bit. So stepping back from the Brandon Jones fade in the truck this week, unfortunately. But he will be back in the one truck for Tricon. Rod's favorite driver, Carson Hocevar. He's going to be back in the number 7 truck for Spire Motorsports. Got to make a little bit of money to pay for that fine. Connor Jones is back in the 44 for Nice, which is actually, I feel like this is his first time. Generally, when we saw Connor Jones before, he was in the 66 for ThorSport. So this is maybe the first time I think I've seen him in Nice, making that switch from Ford to Chevy. But hey, get the ride where you can get it right. And Luke Baldwin back for another start in the number 66 over for ThorSport as well. So all 34 of these trucks will make the race.
They will make the MillerTech Battery 200, set for 70 laps around this 2.500. Massive paved triangle for 175 laps in, like I said, Long Pond, Pennsylvania. Yeah, this is one of those races where the track itself, if you've never ever heard of the Tricky Triangle, if you've never heard about the Pocono Raceway, it is definitely not an oval. It is a 3-sided track, a triangle track with 3 turns, not 4. And yeah, I mean, there's long straightaways on either end of it. No real, we talk about comp tracks. There's no other triangle track out there, but there are tracks that race similar to this because you take into account the banking in the corners and the straightaways and stuff like that. And I know Cody will definitely make mention of some of those comp tracks later, but yeah, I mean, this is one of those ones where we're going to look at what they've done lately and particularly what they've done on this track, because as we noted yesterday in the Cup Series, there are some drivers that have not figured, they're good drivers that have not figured this track out yet because it's so difficult.
Well, it is tricky, Rod. That's where the name comes from. So yeah, but it really, there is no true comp tracks, right? It's Indianapolis Motor Speedway is the closest you get. I don't remember if I don't think the trucks have been running there anyways, but that probably not, because they run at IRP across the street. That would make a lot of sense. I know my NASCAR schedules, Rod. This is a Saturday race, Friday race, by the way. Friday evening, be 2:00 for you guys there on the West Coast. So no lights. So that's an early Friday, but that's all right. I don't mind that at all. But yeah, it's, Michigan is in the trucks. We'll be able to look at that. Xfinity, we won't have that when we get to their portion of things, but the high speed 1.5 miles that we've been at so far this season, those are the places you're going to look the most, current form, along with what have you done here at this track in the past.
And of course, think about it this way too. Not a lot of these drivers have a lot of experience on this track either. They're so young that I know they come here every year, but that doesn't always mean anything because these guys have been only racing for 1 or 2 seasons, which means they've only got 1 or 2 starts on this track. So definitely something to pay attention to as well. All right, we will set up all of our bets for this race, but before we do, I would like to take the opportunity to tell you about our friends over at Circa Resort and Casino in Las Vegas. They're giving away the ultimate fantasy football experience for a 12-person league to draft in Vegas and be treated like VIPs for the entire stay. What are you getting, you ask? Well, you get a limo ride from the airport. You get a $5,000 tab for stadium swim and hotel stay for you and your 11 league mates. And of course, you can always get 15% off at all Circa properties with the promo code SGPN15, SGP15 rather. Enter the ultimate fantasy football contest for free at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/circa. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/CIRCA. Let me tell you about my friends over at MyBookie. We're brought to you by MyBookie.ag. MyBookie is your place to place a bet on every sport, including the NBA Finals and the Stanley Cup. MyBookie accepts customers from a ton of locations. You get easy deposit, lightning fast payout using cryptocurrency. Right now, the Austrian Grand Prix happening in a couple of weeks. They've already got odds up for it over on MyBookie. Max Verstappen plus 350 to win this race. I get it. He's not the dominant Max Verstappen that he's been in the past, but this is a race that he clearly has circled on his calendar. There is no way you can deny Max Verstappen to win another Austrian Grand Prix, to have that beautiful Austrian national anthem play in the actual place that it is supposed to be playing at. So give me Max Verstappen plus 350 to win the Austrian Grand Prix in a couple of weeks over there on MyBookie. Head to mybookie.ag, promo code SGPN for a 100% deposit match up to $1,000. Terms and conditions apply. That's mybookie.ag, promo code SGPN. We talk about what a crazy topsy-turvy season it's been in NASCAR. God, man, F1. This is the wrong season to not have an F1 gambling podcast.
I died just a little too early, Rod. Rest in peace.
R.I.P.
It has been a hell of an exciting F1 season, which, let's be honest, not something you've been able to say for quite some time. So they've been killing it over there. Ash checking in from across the pond. Evening, lads. Double dose of trucks and Xfinity. Let's go. What do you say, Rod? Should we go? You ready to get into these picks?
I'm ready to get into these picks. Let's do it.
Let's do it. I am going to kick it off with, again, Rod's favorite driver, Carson Hocevar, top 3 finish. Look, it's minus 110. It's a pretty good number, I think. He's had 3 starts in the Truck Series so far this year. rough outing at Texas. Things just didn't quite go his way. 17th place finish. It was running a little bit better for a while, but not a great day overall. We go to Kansas, which again, so the closest comparison track to what you're going to see at Pocono was probably Michigan, and Kansas being mini Michigan. And luckily, Hocevar ran both of those races. At Kansas, he leads 75 laps, wins the race. I was there in person. Great race. And then Michigan, a couple of weeks ago, ends up with an 11th place finish. Not the best finish of all, but led 56 laps, was fast throughout the day, looked good. Look, I think that as we continue to get through the show, we're expecting this to be the Heim and Hocevar show. And that's the Pocono, the way that it's laid out, as big and as expansive as it is, not really much banking. There's a lot of places to run and hide at this track. And that plays into massive advantage for guys like Heim, who we'll get to in a minute, and guys like Hocevar. There's just not as many places to get in trouble. Now, that's not to say things can't go wrong, right? We know they can, and we know that they will in some cases, but there is more places to get away, to run and hide. You can, somebody had mentioned in the chat yesterday, I think it was Walter, running 12 wide. Like, this is a big, big freaking track. So I don't think it's going to be a problem for a guy like Hocevar. Get away from people, run up front. Does he beat Corey Heim? Does he beat somebody else? Doesn't matter. Top three, that's all you're looking for here. Minus 110. So that's how I'm going to kick off the card with Mr. Hocevar.
Believe it or not, for those of you keeping track, I have more to talk about Carson Hocevar later on in the race, and you may want to take your notebooks out because...
Oh, wait, hold on. What did I just hear you say? You agreed with that Hocevar bet, Rod? Is that... You cut out a little bit. I think that's what I heard.
So, yes, I agree with that Carson Hocevar bet, but I also have a little bit more to say about him later in the episode, so I will do that. But first, let me get to mine. Just wanted to know what we thought about the Piano Man. Billy Joel may not be playing the keys for us very much in that. Well, I'm not to say that he probably won't have a good day. I think Ty Majeski may have himself a nice, solid top 10 day. I think that might creep up into a top 5. But I also think that Brandon Jones may have just a slightly better day than Ty Majeski. So I'm going to take Brandon Jones over Ty Majeski at minus 110. Here's the thing about Ty Majeski, and we talk about him so many times over, and we talk about everything that Ty Majeski brings to the table, but his average finish this season, 14.5. That to me makes me scratch my head so much, because you would think that the guy would be so much better, right? His average start, 10.2. His average finish, 14.5. Look at some of the finishes lately, right? 15th at Michigan, 8th at Nashville, 32nd at Charlotte, 6th at North Wilkesboro, 14th at Kansas, 10th in Texas, 31st at Rockingham. He crashed out back-to-back Bristol and Rockingham. It's just been, pianos have been falling out of the sky lately for Ty Majeski. Now, granted, they all vary in size. However, they are all falling and landing on the back of his truck. Now, the damage that it does, that depends on the size of the piano. But it's just not fun. And then on this track in particular for Ty Majeski, again, it's sort of exactly the way you would expect it to be, considering what his season is right now. Average finish 18.8 between the 98 and the 66. He did have a couple of good top 10 finishes, right? 7th place in the 66 car in 2022, and then in 2003, a 6th place finish in the 98. But bookended by 230 or worth place finishes. 31st last year after starting 6th. That's a huge piano. 36th in 2020 in that race, and then 14th kind of wedged in there. Hasn't necessarily been a consistent track for Ty Majeski. And if you're telling me that he's inconsistent, I'm interpreting that as he's not going to be somebody I can count on for the race. Brandon Jones, on the other hand, he's got 6 races in this, 2 top 10s. He hasn't been all that consistent either. However, he did have 6th place at Kansas, 10th place at Charlotte, which leads me to believe that he's on the right trajectory in that one truck. But what I'll really bank on, like we said, how's he performed in this track? In the Truck Series, he took his KBM truck from 10th place to a win. The only time he's ever started in that 2020 race where Ty Majeski finished 36th, Brandon Jones won. So, and led 11 laps in the process, which means there was speed in that truck. I'm going to just take the fact that he remembers how to get around this track and outperform Ty Majeski, or at least outlast Ty Majeski in this case. So give me Brandon Jones over Ty Majeski. Minus 110.
I like this bet. I'm going to actually make a case for Majeski in a bit, but it's more numbers related, as it's been kind of the last couple of weeks. I wanted to take the opposite side of this, right? I saw Brandon Jones in the trucks, and I was immediately like, hey, this is the matchup against him. Let's fade him. But you pull it up, and you just made great points, right? Charlotte finish. Was it Kansas, the other one, where he's had some good runs here in the Truck Series lately. You look at what he's done previously in the Truck Series at Pocono with that 1 start, 1 win. Pretty hard to fade him. And where is Brandon Jones great at? Kansas, Michigan, all the tracks we said were the closest comps to this one. Hard to bet against him. So, I've completely switched face and gone from fading Brandon Jones in the trucks to I will take him in this head-to-head matchup.
Which again is something that we do, right? Because we are, as much as we say that we're against people or for people, we're really here for the numbers and for you guys. So if it's a good bet, we'll give it regardless of our personal feelings.
Hey, got to be willing to adjust and move on the fly. Plus, I'm a big Brandon Jones fan, as you know from years of Xfinity Series betting, right? Will checking in. Shout out to Will. I think first time I've seen him in the chat. Any love for LaJoy in the 07? I always love LaJoy in the 07. Unfortunately, he is not racing this week. Patrick Emmerling going to be in that 07 truck, so I would not expect much from that. Laura checking in, saying thanks to Jess. I'm guessing Jess alerted her we were live, so love to see that. And she says afternoon as well.
I also would like to respond. I'm not going to throw it up, but yes, I will take a 900 service in Lodi on the 20s.
Rod's getting work. They're seeing when Rod can work. So what's your availability this week, Rod? So
I love it. Well, yeah, sign me up. I will take that.
There you go. I like it.
All right, but yeah, so I like it as well. And hi, Laura. Good to see you. Happy to have you in the chat. Oh, Laura, by the way, Laura, going to Sonoma. So I'm sure you said you're going to be there.
Oh. We totally we blew it at the top of the show, Rod. My goodness. San Diego apparently getting a street course race. So I think that's nice and close to you, right? Like, isn't it 8 hours away or something like that?
It's going to be a nice little plane ride. I'm taking it.
Hey, if you can get there, that'll be great. But yeah, it looks like San Diego going to be the next iteration of the street course. Sounds to me like this will be the final Chicago street race. This year, they're going to actually go back to Chicagoland from everything everybody's saying, which is great. 1.5 miles, so we need more of them. Love it. And then, San Diego gets on there, whether that replaces Michigan, whether that replaces the Bristol Spring race, not Michigan, Mexico City, rather, or the Bristol Spring race, I think would be the more ideal one. Jess would like you to wear your Blues Clues shirt to the race in Sonoma there, Rod. Definitely. You got to meet Laura if she's going to be there. That would be great. We love Laura.
We do. But we also love winning bets. So let's continue to lay them out.
Yeah. The guy that I love to bet on is Mr. Grant Enfinger. I'm going to take him for a top 5 plus 210. What's he done here at this track, Rod? Well, I'm glad that you asked. Last year, second place finish in the CR7 truck, 4th in stage 2, 5th in stage 1. So running good all day, finishes in second place. Hey, that cashes the top 5 for you, right? Back with GMS 2 years ago. Solid 5th place finish. Did have a couple years where there were some struggles and some things that went wrong. It's going to happen, right? But back in his Thor Sport days, 11th, 10th, 6th place finishes back here. So he's been pretty solid on this track. What's he done for us this year? He's looked damn good, including a second place finish. Remember, Rod, we had him for a long shot in Michigan. So close. That race turned into a shit show at the end, but ends up, well, first of all, he led 31 laps. It looked like he was going to win. Then they had, I don't even remember, so many things happened in that, but something happened to him, and he got shuffled back, and then all those cautions and overtimes, and he gets put back up, right, to the front. So ends up finishing second, but you like to see that. 10th at Nashville, okay, but a farther comparison away. 6th place at Charlotte, 9th place at Kansas, so some decent runs at those, and a second place run at Las Vegas, another comp track as well. So been a strong season for Grant Enfinger. He's been good at this track before. Plus 210, I think is good. And this is a truck that Enfinger just drives fast trucks, right? He's always got speed, it seems like. This is a track where, again, it's wide open. It's all about speed. Enfinger's going to have that, so I love that for a top 10. And then a name we don't bring up very often, but intrigued me a little bit, Matt Mills for a top 5 finish at 12-1, Rod. Matt Mills is in he's in the 42 for Nice, so it is a good, strong truck, right? We've seen the 42 for Nice specifically. Be Carson Hocevar in the past. We know that Nice trucks are good. We've seen Ross Chastain do well with those back in the day. Also, obviously, those are specific names that are very good. But An 11th place finish here last year in the Nice Motorsports truck. Ran second in stage 2, so kind of running up there throughout the day. His one other start was for Jennifer Jo Cobb Racing. Horrible team, and he had a gear issue and didn't finish the race anyways, so you can't hold that against him. But it's kind of a mixed bag of results if you look through this year, right? 22nd at Nashville, 23rd at Michigan, 20th at Texas. Okay, those aren't great finishes, but been some bright spots. A 7th place run at Charlotte. You're within 2 spots at another 1.5 mile higher speed track, right? Kansas, 12th place run. Again, we're not too far out of there. Even Las Vegas, where he finished in 16th. Those are all bright spots that give me enough hope at 12-1. Again, long shot for a reason, right? But for a guy that ran well here last year and has had some good performances this year, Matt Mill's kind of a sneaky guy, not only for your DFS. Of course, you can go look at that as well. But I think he could sneak into the top 5 here at 12-1. This is where I would love to have the top 10s to bet on. But since we don't, we'll take the top 5 at 12-1.
6-1 top 10 is that's phenomenal, because that's where you really feel comfortable. And again, we if you didn't listen to the Cup episode yet, there was a discussion over Discord on how you bet, right? How do you want to bet? Do you always want to just come in and bet on the favorites, or do you want to try to sprinkle long shots in and try to see if they hit? Like, what is your betting strategy? Obviously, we'll never tell you how to bet. We'll just give you what we think is a good bet. And that's why, we would give you 6-1 top 10s. That's more feasible than 12-1 top 5s, but we don't have them. So for us, it's like, okay, we'll make a case and say, if you can be in the top 10, maybe we can slide into the top 5. It's of course it's a long shot. And like you always say, Cody, it's a long shot for a reason, but these aren't, we're not taking stabs at guys that we don't think, like straight up back markers. We're not taking those guys that are not going to, like the Andres Perez's of the world. As good as that truck is, he's never really a top 10 contender. He's not somebody that we consider on a week-to-week basis for Frankie Muniz. We tried, right? We really did. We thought maybe he would, but no, he's going to continue to be a back marker. You can't bet on him. So we'll never give you that. We'll never just throw a name out there that has no real shot. So that's kind of where we're at on the long shot. Speaking of that, how about Gio Ruggiero in that 17 truck? Top 5 number for him is at 6-1. So this is a long shot top 5, right? You can imagine I'd rather have a 3-1 top 10 for Gio, because I feel like that's a little more comfortable. But Gio did finish second at Daytona, super speedway, Rod, I know, but he finished 4th at Kansas, right? And then he finished 7th at North Wilkesboro, parked it on the pole at Charlotte the next week. Now, this is where a top 10 makes me feel more comfortable than a top 5, as the last couple of weeks, a 12th place at Michigan, 13th at Nashville. Those are closer to where I would feel comfortable, but with that 4th place in Kansas, he's proven that he can hang with some of the bigger dogs in the yard. The only thing is, right, he's a rookie still, and so he's prone to get a little bit in the mix and get himself a little askew and find himself in situations that he shouldn't be in. But we know the truck's fast enough, right? We saw Taylor Gray last season roll that truck to all kinds of success, which is why he is where he is now. Gio Ruggiero, you can argue, is not as accomplished a driver yet, but he is definitely making a case for somebody who deserves to be in the conversation. Average finish this season of 13.6, average start 13.1. He's led 40 laps this season already. Like, that's for the rookie in him to be able to lead 40 laps. 24 of those came at North Wilkesboro, where he started 4th, finished 7th. 5 top 10 finishes and 13 starts, 2 top 5s. I mean, again, this is a 6-1 for a top 5, but the equipment is good enough. The driver has proven he's capable. And I think that at the end of the day, when we talk about Heim and Hocevar battling it out for the win, I think that leaves, I would have loved to have said Ankrum again, right? But I've been burned too many times by Ankrum, and he probably will finish top 5 because this is the week I'm not on him. But I will go ahead and say that 6-1 on a guy like Gio is actually a more valuable bet this week than an Ankrum would be.
Yeah, I like this. We've been on Gio all year. We've seen a lot of speed. I think the number is good. I think that for the speed we've seen out of this kid, if he just goes out there and runs a clean race, I think the number is great at 6-1.
Indeed. All right. Well, then somebody has to win this race, Cody. And who do you think that's going to be?
Yep. Back on the train, Rod. It is Heim time. I kind of mentioned it earlier and kind of prefaced it with there's a lot of places to run and hide. I think that we're going to be able to see that this weekend. I think we're going to see that from Corey Heim. We've seen obviously the speed this year, and it's not always ended up great for him at the end of the day, right? But again, at a track like this, I think that it's going to be easier for him to just get away and run away with it. He did last year. He won stage 1, he won stage 2, won the race after he started outside row 1. Easy day, wins the whole thing. Back in 2023 here, he led 27 laps and got passed on the final lap by the greatest Truck Series driver of all time. Of course, the artist formerly known as Kyle fucking Busch, now just Kyle Busch. But at the time, there was still some fucking in there from Kyle, and he just set him up perfect and got him right at the end of the race, right? But so really, it's been a couple of great runs from Heim. And then back in 2022, had a 4th place run here in his first start. So good day there. And then, of course, what has Corey Heim done this season? We've seen it all year long, right? He has been the fastest truck each and every single week. The only thing that's beat him has been either himself or just bad circumstances. Michigan, we saw it, led 29 laps, super fast, ends up with an 18th place finish 17 overtimes later, ends up in second in Nashville after leading 58. But Charlotte, he got it done. He led 98 laps and won on the day. You go back to North Wilkesboro, he led 100. It's crazy to look through his laps led. Rod, there are 2 races this season, Atlanta and Daytona, where he's not led at least 16 laps. Every other race, he's led at least 29 laps. It's absolutely insane. But Kansas, again, the best truck. I was there for that race. Great truck, led 52 laps, had the penalty late, got pushed back, fought all the way back through, got up to 3rd, couldn't quite get there. But Texas, another intermediate, leads 96, wins at the end of the day. Las Vegas leads 42, wins. He is fast. He's good. He's been good here. And, we talk about week to week, when is it worth betting the chalk? When is it not worth betting the chalk? You got to pick and choose. We said it wasn't worth it for Zilich last week at -110. Look, he was great. He was fast. He looked good, right? Got wrecked at the end of the day. We said it wasn't worth it for SVG. Maybe we should have bet that, right? But Ty Gibbs could have got him there too. Who knows? But I think this is a race where you get in on Corey Heim. You just eat it at +110. You can get that over on ESPN. That's the best number that I saw. But I think that it is Heim time this week. And then a couple of insurance plays. Chandler Smith, 12-1. Love Chandler Smith. And his last start here back in 2022, led 49 laps, won this race. So great run by him there. 25th in the one other start he had back in the KBM days back in 2021. Not going to hold that against him. And then we've seen this season a lot of speed out of him, right? We've seen a lot of speed out of his teammate Riggs, who I was a little bit sad we don't get a chance to talk about today. Numbers just kind of don't line up. But he's been in the right place at the right time. Go back to North Wilkesboro, right? Right place at the right time, got the win there. Bristol dominated that day. Obviously, Bristol doesn't really translate too much to this other than it's the intermediate package. But he's been top 10 at Michigan with an 8th, 7th at Nashville. 17th at Kansas wasn't the best run, 16th at Texas, but 8th place at Miami, 8th place at Las Vegas. He's had some good runs in a fast truck. At 12-1, if shit goes crazy at the end of these truck races, Rod, we've never seen that happen, right? Just about every race it does, right? So I think that he's a great bet to have. And then Ty Majeski at 25-1. You made the case against him earlier in the head-to-head. I agree with that, and I probably will actually bet that as well. But at 25-1, for a driver as good as Majeski is, the reigning champion in what is fast trucks at ThorSport, the number's just too big. You got to keep betting him at this number because eventually he's going to evade the pianos, and it's going to be like, holy shit, and you're going to talk about the time you bet on him at 25-1 and he hit for you because you probably never see the number again. Stats aren't super great here. The stats aren't great this season. This is simply a great driver in a great truck. They've got to put it together eventually. And if you keep getting him at this type of number, I think that you got to keep running with it.
Yeah, and you know,
but checking in here in the chat, can't bet Majeski no more. Dude rinses me every week, but right now you're betting him at 25-1 every week. So he's again, we say it a lot, but 25-1 for a reason. He's not supposed to win. But as fast as he is, as good as he is, as capable as he is, if a piano falls out of the sky and something goes wrong for Majeski, we're gonna laugh and put the little GIF in the Discord because it happens every time. But when it doesn't happen and he hits, he is good enough and fast enough that I don't know if I don't know. Is it he shouldn't be at that number because how he's been running lately, he probably should be at the number. But when he's at the number, that's when you have to kind of jump on it. And again, it's 25-1. He's not supposed to win, right? But when he does at that number, you're gonna enjoy it.
And eventually he's going to catch back up again. Like drivers like Majeski, like you said, it's fun to sort of, everything goes wrong for Ty Majeski, but we forget champion, right? And he's a guy that's going to show back up again. It's just a matter of when and if. So, all right. I would like everybody to bookmark the following. Where are we at in this? I don't even know. 35
make sure
minutes.
my volume's turned up here. I want to make sure I hear this very good.
My outright for this race, Carson Hocevar, plus 375. Hard Rock has him at plus 375. This is a case of Heim being so damn good that you depress odds for drivers like Carson Hocevar, who, as Cody laid out earlier, and by the way, Laura, you were asking top three. Cody did say Hocevar for a top three. I also will echo that Chandler Smith top three number is not bad either if you're going to go that route as well. Chandler Smith top three is plus 225. So I would jump on that. But Carson Hocevar, okay, there are a lot of things now for Carson Hocevar. And I will tell you that the least of which is the fact that he has just been shooting himself in the foot on the track, right? Left and right. He has not been making friends. He's like me driving in the NASCAR video games where every driver around me is red because all I do is just bump and run and literally squeeze myself into positions that I shouldn't be in. Is that a video game or is that anyway? And so now everybody's mad at him, right? And then of course he doubles down on it and does stuff that he shouldn't do outside of the realm of the NASCAR world. Say what you will about free speech, say what you will about anything else. It's just a matter of he knows that he is not in a position where he should be able to, or he should be mouthing off like that, right? Young driver, lots to learn. Okay. But one thing you cannot take his success in the Truck Series, how good he is in the Truck Series. I like to make fun of him. I like to have fun at his expense because I have low self-esteem and I've got nothing better to do. But I will say that I will give him credit for being a much better truck driver than most of the field out there, right? It's going to be Corey Heim. It's going to be Carson Hocevar. The two things that'll take this out is him screwing up on the track like he tends to do, or somebody not happy with the way he performs and taking him out. But I'm just saying right now, Carson Hocevar, he shouldn't be plus 375. He should be closer to 2-1. He should be closer to Corey Heim in that 165 range, right? That's really where he belongs. And so if you're getting him at almost 4-1 for a truck that is fully capable of winning this race and a driver that is fully capable of winning this race, that is a misprice, and you need to jump on that. Now, you know that I'm going to go and I'm going to cleanse myself in the holiest of waters that I can, because that pained me to say anything nice about him at all. But that's what you get this season, right? You're going to get me defending Carson Hocevar on the track this week because it shouldn't be. He shouldn't be this price. And I don't care what his past performance was. I mean, he's got a couple of finishes outside of the top 10 on this particular track, right? But he does have a 5th place finish in 2022. All I'm saying, Carson Hocevar should not be close to 4-1 to win this race when you know damn well he's going to be in contention to win it all day.
You heard it here, folks. Rod loves Carson Hocevar.
Sorry. I don't even know where. I need something to cleanse this. Where's my beer? I need a beer quickly.
Rod just went all Noah Gregson on us, throwing up all over the place here.
That's because I just had to say nice stuff about Carson Hocevar. I want all the soap in the world to wash my mouth out. But all right, let me move on before I actually have to actually acknowledge what I just said. All right, here we go. Get out your pen and paper. We're going to go over our Truck Series bets for this. I know Lucas is out there, and a lot of you guys are waiting, for the graphic at the end. I'm telling you right now, he's in the 7 this weekend.
Yes, yep.
Yeah, not the 07. The graphics department, I gotta fire whoever's in charge of that because
we're gonna get rid of that intern.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous. But sorry, you're gonna have to do it old school from now on. All right, Cody started you off with Carson Hocevar, top 3 truck at -110. I said Brandon Jones would finish better than Ty Majeski at -110 over on Caesars. Cody gave you Grant Enfinger as the top 5 truck at +210 and added Matt Mills as a top 5 truck at 12-1. I said, give me Gio Ruggiero in that 17 truck as a top 5. It +600 over on Hard Rock. Cody said it's time, as it tends to always be. +110. Chandler Smith, 12-1. Ty Majeski, 25-1 to win the race. And you heard me. Don't make me say it again. Carson Hocevar, +375 on Hard Rock to do it. So
I love it. I love to see it, Rod. It's good to see you coming around on such a great driver like Carson Hocevar.
I'm going to move on. Let's go back and talk about some Xfinity Series at the end of this. TK actually said, I'm still the president of the Ty Gibbs Haters Club, so keep my head up. Yeah. I still have that.
At least you've got that to fall back on. Right?
Well, until Ty Gibbs proves me otherwise, then we're going with that. So.
Well, yeah, you're going to be looking for a job next week.
I guess I am. Whatever. I have jobs. Remember, they're getting offered to me in the chat.
Oh, that's right.
All right, guys. We'll be back with some Xfinity Series race. But in the meantime, let me tell you about our friends over at Underdog Fantasy. It's time for my bonus Underdog Pick'em. Underdog is going long for the NBA Finals with their extender bonus. Hop in game 1. And the longer the series goes, the bigger the bonus gets. Looking right now at Underdog Fantasy. Canadian football, I love it. It is Thursday night football tomorrow night. Caleb Evans of the Montreal Alouettes, their short yardage person and the guy that is most, the guy who's most feasible to get the goal line carries, obviously. I'm going to take his higher than a half of a rushing and receiving touchdown. Now, granted, this is going to come on the ground because Caleb Evans, from a yard out, anytime they're close to the end zone, is going to get that ball. So Caleb Evans, Montreal Alouettes, higher than a half of a rushing and receiving touchdown. However, that will probably come on the ground for sure. Make sure you watch that Alouettes game. All right. I already gave them props earlier, and they're taking on Edmonton, and Edmonton is just not the greatest. So Caleb Evans getting in the end zone this week on Underdog. Sign up with our promo code RACESGPN. Claim your special pick and first time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus credits. UnderdogFantasy.com. Promo code RACESGPN. You have heard us talk about Rhythm before, and they just dropped a game-changing feature called Power Trends. These are AI-detected patterns where Rhythm's model has consistently won and has a high ROI. Think a strikeout prop that wins 59% of the time when the line and win probability hit a certain range. Power Trends are updated daily and exclusive to Rhythms. No touts, no noise, just clean data-backed bets. Download the Rhythm app today. Check out Power Trends and start betting smarter. You know that we will. Looking at this A's and Angels matchup today. Well, how about JP Sears, huh? 3.5 strikeouts. Well, they're telling me to take higher than on this instance, better than over 3.5 strikeouts. So I'm definitely going to take that for JP Sears. Find that over there on Rhythm right now. Go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. Join in on all of the fun. I was looking back. Justin from Old Fashioned Football sent us one of his earliest offerings back in the day, his high school. I think it was high school, right, Cody? That he was writing for his high school.
Yeah, I think he said 15. Yeah, writing for the school paper.
I harken back to some of my days when I was in the Army, and I was just a budding young sports writer, and some of the stuff that I used to write. I would write about the WNBA. I would write about the XFL. I wrote about everything under the sun, and it's great to see that 25 years later, I still have love for all of the sports under the sea. So, you want random sports, you get him here.
That's right. Rod's definitely got you covered with some of the more obscure stuff. I branch out a little bit, not as much as you do, but
when you start writing darts, you've gone full degen. So, all right. Well, then you don't have to be full degen for the Xfinity Series, and just as Justin said, Connor Zilic time, but not so fast. I don't know that either one of us are going to be talking about Connor
so
Zilic.
Fast. I think we're definitely talking.
Are we talking about Zilic? Oh yeah, we are. Okay, we are, and we're talking about him very shortly here. So let's do it.
We are talking about him very shortly here.
we are talking about the Xfinity Series race in Pocono, which is the Explore the Pocono Mountains 250, set for 90 laps around this 2.500 mile paved track for 225 even miles. at Long Pond, Pennsylvania, in the Pocono Raceway. Cody, this has got a couple of names in it, this race.
It does, Rod. There is someone by the name of Chase Elliott going to be driving the number 17 car for Hendrick Motorsports in this Xfinity Series race. Justin Bonsignor, the modified guy, returns to the number 19 for Joe Gibbs Racing. And Carson Ware, younger brother of Cody Ware, is going to be in the number 35. And then Rod, one of the reasons that Justin bringing up Mr. Zilich here, his crew chief is suspended after the missing lug nuts from Nashville. They deferred that suspension a week. So Marty Lindley was the crew chief last week in Mexico City, but he'll serve his suspension this week. So if you go over and you look at who's listed on the roster for JRM Motorsports in the Xfinity car for the number 88, one Ralph Dale Earnhardt Jr. will be the crew chief this weekend on the number 88 car for Connor Zilich. You fucking love to see it. I believe somebody on the X did the research. There's only 7 people who have been credited with a win as a driver, a owner, and as a crew chief. So could it be 8? Could it be 8? Weird time for that number to come up this weekend, Rod. If you're interested, Connor Zilich is 8-1. Connor Zilich also matched up against Sheldon Creed, Rod, over on the ESPN, -125. Give me Connor Zilich. I love Zilich on this side of the head-to-head. You go back and you look, 6 of the last 7 races so far this season, Connor Zilich has beat Sheldon Creed head-to-head. 9 of the last 12. That's not really that close. He's gotten him a majority of the time here recently, and in particular on all of the intermediate comp tracks you're going to use. It was a second-place run at Nashville for Zilich. Now, Creed ran 4th, but still not better than Mr. Zilich. Second place at Charlotte for Connor Zilich. A little bit of a trend here, right? 10th place finish. Connor did not run the race at Texas. He was out with the, was it back? I think that he had hurt earlier on. But if he'd run it, he'd have beat Sheldon Creed because he finished 36th place. Darlington, 6th place finish for Zilich, 10th place for Sheldon Creed. Vegas, comp track, 9th for Zilich, 10th for Creed. Miami, the only intermediate where Creed got Zilich, and that's kind of a far cry for being super comparable to this track anyway. So love Connor Zilich over Sheldon Creed. And yeah, like Justin says, he's been really strong on the 1.5 miles recently here. So we've seen him really kind of break out of his shell, do well. Going to be fun to have a bet on him while Dale Jr. is the crew chief. So I love it. And then we're going back to the well, Rod. Gave this bet out last week. It worked out well for us. Running it back. Christian Eckes over William Sawalich, -115. I went on a whole rant last week. He told you how much William Sawalich sucks. He finished in 9th place, so not a bad day. It was a solid enough day, right? Doesn't matter because Christian Eckes still beat him, and that's really the only thing that mattered there anyways. But he's 2 for 2 now in the Xfinity Series, having good runs on road courses. Fine. I'll give him a little bit of credit there. Outside of that, he really sucks. 14 races this season, 10 times Christian Eckes has beat William Sawalich in 14 races. 10 out of 14. I'm pretty certain that in all 4 that he's lost to him, it's because Eckes is DNF'd. And even when he had a bad run at Nashville and DNF'd in 35th, Sawalich was right ahead of him in 34th place. Charlotte, Sawalich ran great, 15th. That's his best finish on a non-road course or super speedway this season, but not good enough to beat Eckes, who finished in 9th. Texas was 38th for Eckes and 13th for for Sawalich. I guess 13th technically, Swalich's best finish on the non-road course super speedway, but still not great runs. Go back to Las Vegas, 38th again for Sawalich, 13th for Christian Eckes. Look, this is a full-time Joe Gibbs racing car. If you've listened to this show for years, I've told you how fast those cars are, how good those cars are. We've bet on guys time and time again, and William Sawalich has not gotten it done. 13th is his best finish on a non-road course or super speedway. He's only got 2 top 10s this entire season, both on road courses. This is not a road course. 6 top 10 finishes for Christian Eckes. So we're running it back. I know that Sawalich ran pretty good last week, and you're kind of like, this guy said he sucks. I promise you, he does suck. Not going to be a good run this week for Sawalich. All about fading, and I'm glad they're giving us this opportunity once again. So, yeah, jump on it, Christian Eckes over William
I
Sawalich.
like both of these. Obviously, the Connor Zilich one, too, man. How awesome is it to say that your crew chief is Dale Earnhardt Jr., right? That's
Yeah. Like the first time Dale Jr. ever crew chiefs in the NASCAR Premier Series, you're the guy, and maybe the only time, right? Will he ever get on the box again? Who knows, right? TK is saying Mexico is a slow track, except for the straight, so he had more time to react and think. So 18 probably made less mistakes.
Indeed.
I like it.
All right. I am going to start my Xfinity card with a head-to-head as well.
Oh. Yeah, and good point from I guess Smoke. We're gonna go with Smoke here, but not sure how much stock you can put into it because Larson was driving, but the 88 car did win at Texas. So when I was listing off that stuff and he missed that race, his car still won the race. Now, granted, Kyle Larson is Kyle Larson, but we know the car has the speed, and he's obviously shown that in some other.
Maybe
other
Kyle
races.
Larson should call Max Verstappen for some tips. We saw how that worked for young SVG. But all right, I'm taking a head-to-head here, and I'm going to take Austin Hill over Sam Mayer at -110 for my head-to-head. I mean, I get it because Sam Mayer has actually had a level of success in that 41 car this season. Average finish of 11.1, 8 top 10 finishes in 15 starts. 7 of those have been top 5 finishes. 3rd at Nashville, 5th at Texas, 11th at Charlotte. I mean, go back to Homestead, he finished 2nd. Las Vegas, he finished 5th. So, some very solid finishes for Sam Mayer. But we also know that this is Austin Hill we're talking about, right? Austin Hill, 11 top 10 finishes so far this season. His average finish is 10.1. This is really going to be a close one. This will be decided by a couple of positions on the track. This is not Austin Hill's going to come smoke the tires off of Sam Mayer and run it back. But, I mean, Austin Hill has won 3 races this season already, right? He won in Martinsville. He finished 3rd at Homestead. He finished 4th at Las Vegas. He won Talladega. I know it's a super speedway, but he is on a streak of top 10 finishes that dates back to Rockingham. So 6th at Rockingham, 1 Talladega, 4th at Texas, 7th at Charlotte, 7th at Nashville, 3rd at Mexico City. So that 21 car is riding a hot hand right now. And you get Austin Hill on a track that he's comfortable on a track that he knows well, on a hot streak. Guess what? I think that Austin Hill's going to do very well for himself this week too. He's led in all 3 of the last 3 races that he's been here on. He granted only led a lap last season, 2 laps before that, and 4, but he's led laps, right? And he actually won in 2023 on this track. 8th place finish in 2022, 7th place last year. Sam Mayer, 18th place in the 8 car in 2021, 6th place in the 1, 2nd in the 1, 10th in the 1. And this is JRM equipment, right? So obviously we know that he's going to be a perennial top 10. However, we've seen this year that Sam Mayer is going to be a top 10 car, but Austin Hill will be in the conversation for a win, where I can't think that Sam Mayer he's going to be in the conversation for a top 10, maybe in a conversation in the top 5. TK's got it exactly right. Mayer has the higher ceiling. Hill is usually more consistent. And that's what we're going after for this one. I'm going after the consistency for Austin Hill over the upside of Sam Mayer. And Hill's the lower end of this, so you're paying less juice with Hill at -110.
Yeah, that's what you're looking for in head-to-heads, is the guys who are more consistent and get you there every week. That's like the Blaney Byron one yesterday. Like, Blaney can go out and dominate a race and win a race any given week, but Byron is so much better at getting to the end, at least currently in the current form, right? And Hill's always been that guy. And honestly, it's a little bit debatable how high Mayer's ceiling is right now. Kind of disappointing again last week. Now, he got caught up in a wreck early and got the damage and stuff, but it's just not like, in an overall sense, old big country, as Justin says, has been running pretty well. So I completely agree with you on that head-to-head. Let's head over to the top 10 market, which we do have in the Xfinity Series now. Rod, going back to the old Harry Burton top 10. You know how much I love this bet, plus 350. We've cashed this multiple times this year. 12th place at Nashville. He was so close to cashing it there. Rougher day at Charlotte, where he finished in 21st, but Texas, 6th place finish. Rockingham, he had that nice 3rd place finish. Las Vegas, the 8th place run. Miami, 11th place run. Darlington, 3rd place run. He's been in or about the top 10 time and time again this season. Going back to the well on old Harry Burton. And then, Rod, going back to an old friend in Dean Thompson, also at plus 350. Dean Thompson quietly been having a pretty strong season over in the Xfinity Series. Honestly, for being in a Sam Hunt car in the 26 and being Dean Thompson that he is, you weren't really sure, but we've seen Dean Thompson, and on these big tracks where all you have to do is go fast and it doesn't take a lot of skill, that's where Dean Thompson flourishes. I say that, but 12th place finish at Mexico City last week, beat his teammate Christopher Bell pretty easily, who of course didn't make it to the end of the race. But Dean Thompson's had some good runs this season. 5th place at Charlotte. He fucking loves Charlotte. I believe you had him for the top 10 that day. Hits it there with the great run. Even Las Vegas, a 15th place run, not too far out of it. 13th place at Miami, 18th place at Darlington. He got a top 10 at Bristol, got an 11th place finish at Rockingham. So he's had some really good runs on some of the comp tracks and just kind of throughout the season. Plus 350. I'd maybe like it to be a little bit bigger, but honestly, as good as he's been and kind of looking through the board, it's kind of like, I wanted to do the Alfredo baby bump. Roddy just had a baby. Little baby Pasta was born, but I just couldn't pull the trigger on it. But Dean Thompson at plus 350 is a place I like to go.
What do you call baby pasta? Is there a word to call like small pasta, or is there not al dente? That's
yeah. Well, like what would be like the smallest pasta? Would it be like be like mac and cheese noodles, right? Probably. So like a little elbow Alfredo. I don't know. We'll have to workshop it. Somebody hit us up.
I don't know. Come for the betting picks day for what we call baby pasta.
We're just gonna go baby pasta. I think that's really good.
I think so too as well. What do we got? The question here. Laura wants to know Taylor Gray this week. Hang tight, Laura. There's actually some thoughts on Taylor Gray. And then the Nomad wants to know, how do you think the rookie Gabe owners will place? I think that's the answer right there. I don't think we're
I think there's a joke there, but that's out of the league for this.
All right, let's turn our attention to another JRM driver. You know I love me some JRM drivers. The driver of the one car, Carson Kvapil. I want a Pastini. Oh, I like that.
Pastini. Laura, that might be the winner.
It's little pasta. I'm gonna, like I said, I love me some JRM drivers. So Carson Kvapil, the driver of the one. This is where I would take a top 10 bet on him, even at the minus, but I don't want to, right? Because he's at minus 160 for a top 10. That's the frustrating part. Like minus 160 for a top 10. It's a little more juice than I want to pay on that one. So I'll just creep up to his top 5 number at plus 200. That's where we answered the debate, right? Do you want it to win? Do you want it to cash? Or what do you want? Like how greedy do you want to be? If you can come out with an equation that you can make enough money out of a minus 160 bet, then by all means take that. But I will go with the top 5 in this instance at 2-1. This is a tough sell because Carson Kvapil, we said that he and his teammate both have the talent to be jockeying for top 5s, for top 3s each and every week. However, just something happens to either one of them, right? I mean, Connor Zilic, obviously a little more consistent than his buddy Kvapil. Carson has an average start this year of 10.3, average finish of 15.1. He has 5 top 10s in 15 starts, 3 top 5s. But you kind of go and you look and you say, well, nothing here makes you feel good. He got a 5th place at Darlington. Okay. A 3rd place at, or a 2nd place rather at Bristol. He just finished 9th in Nashville. He started 4th at Mexico City, ended up finishing 19th in that race. Something's happened. That's really all there is to it. Started 2nd in Vegas, ended up 17th. But I feel like at some point, something's got to turn the corner, right? And I think if we're thinking that JRM is going to be a contender this week, then I think that Carson Kvapil is going to be a contender this week. I just read off to you all of the success that that Sam Mayer had in the one car in this particular number 1 car, right? A 6th place finish in 2022, a runner-up finish in 2023, a 10th place finish in 2024. But you say, Rod, that's Sam Mayer, that's not Carson Kvapil. But I think at this point, I can say that they're equally matched when it comes to driving talent right now. In that, the potential is there for him to be as good as Sam Mayer, right? He's obviously in the same equipment, and I think he is a good enough driver to get it done. It just needs a maturity level, which is probably what you were saying about Sam Mayer early in his career, right? When the maturity starts to hit, then he's going to be a good driver. And guess what? He ended up becoming a very solid Xfinity Series driver, which I know we're kind of speeding the process along for Carson Kvapil. But I also think that in that type of equipment, you can't really say that a top 5 is not feasible for him. And at 2-1, like I'm okay with 2-1 as a top 5 car, because if we think that the 88's fast, if we think that the 7's fast, if we think that if we think that the 1 is fast, then he's going to be a top 5 car. So I'm leaving the 8 out of the equation, unfortunately, and that's the sorry part about it. But yeah, I really do think that Carson Kvapil has a shot at the top 5 this week at 2-1.
Yes, I like this as well. And Justin tossing out the top 3 at plus 450 as well. If you want to get real spicy, Rod. All right, time to get over to the winners. Smoke was saying earlier, Allgaier's never won at Pocono. He thinks Chase Elliott takes it. Look, I'm a big Chase Elliott fan. I love Chase Elliott. But Justin Allgaier at plus 350. How could you possibly fade Justin Allgaier right now, Rod? What has Justin Allgaier done this season? 34th place last week in Mexico. Things went bad. Don't care. Road course, new place. Not worried about it. Nashville leads 101 laps, wins the race. Charlotte, 103 laps, ends up with a 4th place finish. Texas leads 99 laps. He is leading when he's headed to pit road and gets a tangle with that lap car and ends up wrecking out of the race. But you go back and you look, Las Vegas leads 102 laps and wins. Miami leads 21 laps and wins. Darlington, fast, 56 laps led, finishes in 3rd place. He is having a hell of a season. He is so far ahead in the points. I think he could take like 6 races off, still be the points leader. He's absolutely dominating everything this weekend or this year, and including this weekend, hopefully. But he has been so good. You go back and you look at what he's done here, it's not like it's been that bad. Last year, led 30 laps in one stage 1. He ended up finishing 2nd place at the end of the day to Cole Custer. 23rd here a couple of years ago, but 2023, but the pianos were really falling that year, Rod. 7th place finish. He had a 3rd place finish back in 2021. All the way back in 2017, he had a 2nd place finish. So he's been good enough at this track. And the dominance we've seen, this is clearly the fastest car in the field. I don't think there's any question about that. You've got a great driver in Allgaier. Things are clicking right now. Another place can go out and hide. That's why I don't mind being super chalky, taking Hyman Allgaier in these races, because it's a place you can run and hide. And I think that's what these guys are going to do, because they're clearly the class of the field in their respective series. So give me Justin Allgaier plus 350. Then, of course, you've got the insurance bets. Taylor Gray, 12-1, Rod. Love some Taylor Gray this week. He does have a 1 career start. He ran here last year as part of his part-time deal in the 19 car. He finished in 5th place part-time as a young guy. Not many Xfinity Series starts under his belt. Go out there, go fast, look good. He can do that. And he's been tearing it up here lately. He has looked extremely good. Of course, ran 2nd place to Daniel Suarez in Mexico last week. Probably a good thing he didn't beat Daniel at the end there. Might not have been able to get out of the place, but we've seen the speed this year. A 2nd place run at Texas. Started on the pole at 23 laps at Charlotte. Got caught up in a wreck, and the day didn't end up good, but the speed's there. We know that he can get it done. Love me some Taylor Gray, and I think at 12-1 in these super fast Joe Gibbs Xfinity full-time cars. That's what Williams Walsh should be doing, but he's not. But Taylor Gray is doing it, so I love him. And then Nick Sanchez at 40-1, Rod, kind of going a little bit off script with this one. But I think I've seen enough from Sanchez this year. They are, willing to roll the dice if this comes down to fuel mileage, which we've seen Pocono be before. If it comes down to strategy, they're going to be aggressive. They're going to go for it. I like that out of that team. And honestly, we've seen some raw speed out of this team as well. 3rd place run at Charlotte, had a great day that day. 8th place at Darlington, 8th place at Miami. He has had some good runs this season, some good finishes. Nick Sanchez is a 40-1 flyer in case things get chaotic. I like it.
Yeah, and Allgaier, you grabbed him, and I was like, yeah, you're all right. And Laura wants to know, will Allgaier chill because he's so far ahead? Even if he chills,
that's a good thing. He's just going to chill and run. Like, he doesn't have to worry about fucking it up. He doesn't have to worry about. There is no pressure on Justin Allgaier right now. It's all free money, right? Whatever he takes right now is just cake, icing on top of the cake, right? Extra playoff points, extra bonus stuff. Like, he's clearly on his way to winning the regular season championship. There's nothing to worry about. This isn't super tense. Oh my God, don't wreck. Like, you got to get good finishes. He is just let him loose, let him go run, do his thing, and you don't have to worry about anything. for a guy that we've seen with as many problems over the years and pianos falling out of the sky as Allgaier's had, that's how I want him racing, is with no pressure at all, because it's been really fucking good so far for him.
You see it all the time in sports, right? The moment that you run tense in anything, you're going to make mistakes. And when you're relaxed and when you just go out there and do the thing that you love to do, which in Allgaier's case is go out and drive, and you talked about his success and everything. I mean, look, Laura, that's exactly like Cody said. That's exactly how I want my Justin Allgaier to run. And I co-sign with this. Ooh, Justin St. Sanchez 50-1 on ESPN. Yeah. Holy hell.
50-1 on ESPN. So let's change that bet. I'd like to go back and give out Nick Sanchez at 50-1.
Please do, because I'm going to give out Jesse Love at 12-1 to win this race. I think he's due. This is I don't, the numbers here are not going to back this up. It's not going to make you feel all warm and fuzzy. And if you decide to fade this one, by all means, I don't blame you at all. This is a gut handicap on my part. Jesse Love at 12-1. How many times when we started out the season were we just singing the praises of Jesse Love, and then he goes into this slump, right? So he wins the Daytona, has problems in Atlanta, but it's a super speedway. We always make exceptions for that. Runs 6th at Coda, 9th at Phoenix, 3rd at Vegas, 6th at Homestead. And then all of a sudden, he crashes out of Martinsville after starting 4th. And for Jesse Love, he kind of falls off of a cliff. Yeah, it's not a huge cliff, but it's still a cliff nonetheless, right? 11th at Darlington, which you're going, 37th at Martinsville, like I said, after crash. 11th at Darlington, you're like, yeah, bro, that's a good solid run. Yeah, but not for the 2-car. Not for a car that's going out and winning and finishing in the top 3 or the top 10 or the top 5 in instances, right? 6th at Bristol, 37th at Rockingham. But now he's starting on an upswing again, and a little bit of an upswing. He started on the pole at Talladega, started 3rd and finished 7th at Texas, finished 12th at Charlotte. Okay, but I think that race was already nutty enough as it was. And then 8th again at Nashville. Something tells me there's just something simmering underneath that 2-car, right? His only start here, he finished 22nd. Doesn't make you feel good, but that was his rookie season. Yeah, he came on like gangbusters, but he still had to learn, right? Now he's learned, and I think he's going to something. There's something underneath the surface for that 2-car, because he's 2 in the mix each and every week to not win another race, right? He's going to win another race, and I think this might be as good a week as any for him now that he's sort of caught his breath after whatever that slump was in the middle after Martinsville for him. So put him back in the winning conversation. 12-1 is a pretty good price for that.
I love how you slipped in. He's 2 in the mix there. Very nice little dad pun there, Rod. And you sure love to bet on Love.
I can't help it, man. I love Love. I'm a sucker for Love, but what can I do? All right. Well then,
gotta love
you
it.
Do gotta love it.
Oof, you got Bovada 20-1 for Jesse Love on Bovada. So Ash calling out the great lines, and Sanchez 66-1 too. That's a nice upgrade there as well.
For those of you with Bovada, have some fun with that. All right, get out your pen and paper. We're going to go over our bets for this. Explore the Pocono Mountains 250. Cody started you off with Christian Eckes over William Sawalich -115. Added Connor Zilic over Sheldon Creed at -125. I gave you Austin Hill over Sam Mayer at -110. Cody gave you Harrison Burton as a top 10 car at +350. Added Dean Thompson at +350 as well for a top 10. I said put Carson Kvapil in that 1 car in the top 5, 2-1 over on Caesars. Cody laid out Justin Allgaier at +350, Taylor Gray at 12-1, and Nick Sanchez at 50-1 now to win the race. Give me Jesse Love, because I love Love, at 12-1 to win this race. Cody, we're crossing our fingers and hoping for odds at the beginning of the week for this. We got them, and we're able to get out a good show.
Yeah, how about this? On time, 2 days in a row, plenty of odds out. We're not sweating anything. Boy, you got to love it. Hopefully, knock on wood here, but I think it's going to be a strong week, and you love having all 3. I like the episodes where we get to have, just to focus on one series, but boy, do I love having 3 races to bet on. Absolutely love it. Ash was wondering, just a question, with the start times of the show, is there any way knowing, or when is it too hard to predict when it'll start? It's too hard to predict when it'll start.
Unfortunately.
Our lives, unfortunately, we're not just full-time podcasters, which would be nice, but our lives are very hectic and crazy. Generally, we aim to be going off at 4:00 Central Time, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. That's kind of our rough start time. And we were just started a few minutes early today, but that's when we usually aim for. But it depends odds. Sometimes we don't get odds in time to go early. We have to push the show back. Last couple of weeks I had some personal stuff happen, and so we pushed the show back to Wednesday. So in a general sense, we try to shoot for the 4, flexible quite a bit at times.
Yeah, again, I know that everybody loves to have the consistency of when this is going to be, and we do too. That's why when we were running it at 2:00 Pacific, the only time zone you should be worried about. It's always, we always try to do that. And then during the school year, it's a little easier for us to do that because it's a lot more regimented in what our whatever, So it's like, and Ash stayed up till 3:00 to sleep in for the race in Mexico City. Sorry. Again, that was more odds driven than anything. That wasn't necessarily our life. That was more odds driven because we didn't get odds until later that evening. So yeah. We're kind of a sucker for that as well.
Yeah. Shout out to you for it. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
And yes, Justin, there is going to be 4 shows next week next week will be the in-season tournament for NASCAR. So we'll have a separate show. We haven't worked out the schedule. I would guess that'll be later in the week because we want to wait and see what we get as far as odds. I mean, there's already odds out to win the tournament, but we're hoping for maybe some matchups related stuff. So we'll figure that out exactly what day that's going to be, but we'll go through, pick out our brackets. We're gonna have a little contest attached with it as well. So stay tuned as we finalize all the details on that. But yeah, 4 shows next week. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
Gonna be an absolute lot of fun. All right. Well then, everybody, that'll put an end to this one, and we will get ready for our DFS episode and our Underdog, because Underdog does have plays up for us this week. So excited to have both of them back. And we'll get you all set for that episode. In the meantime, Cody, why don't we send everybody off with a smile on their face and a card full of bets. Yeah, there you go.
That's right. Gotta love it. All right, Rod, follow me over on the X at Husker_Zeeb. You can find all my stuff over there. There's a lot of it. That's really all there is to it. So best of luck in the trucks and Xfinity this week. I know it's chalky, but I'm loving me some Heim and some Allgaier. Good luck. We'll see you guys tomorrow for DFS talk.
Indeed. Follow me on Twitter at RJ Villagomez, thinking about everything I've got going on, which is also quite a bit. And you can just keep up with it there. That's the easiest place for it. All right. We'll see you guys tomorrow with our DFS and the Underdog show as well. Love you. Every single one of you listening, love you very much. We will see you tomorrow. And until then, let's go racing and let it ride.